Is it on yet? Is this working? Hello, hello. Okay. I don't remember the last time I sat somewhere and did nothing. Like actually nothing. No second screen, just no scrolling while something else plays in the background. Just sat with the moment. I've been trying to remember and I genuinely can't. And what's strange is I don't think I'm unusual. I think most of us forgot how to be alone with our own thoughts, moving from one thing to the next without ever fully stopping. Always consuming something, always producing something, always half present in a moment, always slightly somewhere else. At some point, that stopped feeling unhealthy and started feeling normal. I think we became so scared of silence that we forgot what our own thoughts sound like. Let me tell you something that I recently noticed about myself. Every time there's a gap, even a tiny one, like I've ordered food on Zomato and I'm waiting for it to arrive, or sitting in a rickshaw stuck in traffic, or driving a car while I'm stuck in traffic. Those 10 seconds before a YouTube video loads, I'm already reaching for my phone. Not because there's anything important on it. I'm not the president. Not because I'm expecting someone to reply or I'm expecting something else. I think it's because the silence felt very uncomfortable for me. Like it needed to be filled with something. And I started paying attention to this, like really paying attention to this. And I realized it wasn't just the big gaps, it was every gap. For example, if I'm walking to the kitchen, I need my phone. If I'm waiting for someone to reply, I need my phone. If I'm lying in my bed before sleeping, I need my phone. Sometimes, I'll just unlock my phone and genuinely forget why I picked it up. And somewhere in between all of that, I realized something that I think is actually kind of serious. I don't actually know what I'm like when I'm not consuming something. I mean, people say we need to consume to produce, but that's wrong. I don't know what I think about when nothing is telling me what to think about. I don't know what I feel when nothing is making me feel something. And I realize I spend more time reacting to things than actually thinking my own thoughts. And to be honest, that scared me a little. Not in a dramatic way, but just quietly. In that way where something occurs to you and, you can't unknow it. So I started thinking about it, about why stillness feels so strange now, about what we have lost by never being bored, about what it actually costs us to always be somewhere else in our head. And I think this is just going to be thinking out loud, not with answers. If you find one, then great. Please let me know. But I think just with questions, I think we should probably be asking. Here's something I caught myself doing recently. I was just editing, just sitting at my desk working, and I hit a small wall. Nothing dramatic, just one of those moments where you don't know what to do next. And maybe within 4 seconds, I was on Instagram. I didn't decide to open Instagram. My thumb just went there, like it had its own plan. And I closed it. I went back to editing, hit the wall again. This time I opened YouTube. Then after a while, I closed it. I opened Instagram again. And then I closed it. And then I was like, I have to sit and edit. All of that in maybe 3 minutes. And I didn't even register it. It was like automatic. We've built a life where discomfort has a skip button and it works. The discomfort goes away. Except the wall that you face, it's still there. You just avoided it for some time, I guess, for a few minutes, maybe sometimes hours. But the thing that really made me stop and think wasn't the desk scrolling, it was the train. I take the local train sometimes, and there used to be, I think there still should be, this specific kind of emptiness on a train journey where you are just sitting, watching the city move past the window. You see a lot of buildings, stations, people on platforms, and those people are living entire lives you'll never know anything about. That used to feel like something, like your brain got a chance to just wander. No destinations, no task, just the train moving and your thoughts going wherever they wanted. I genuinely cannot do that anymore. Yeah, the moment I sit down before the train even starts moving, I remove my earphones out, I remove my phone out, and I start playing something, music, video, or whatever. And I've tried to catch myself in that moment. Try to just, put the phone away, sit with the window, look outside, look at the people, look at the city. And within 60 seconds, I'm not joking, within 60 seconds, my hand is reaching for my phone again. Not because anything happened, just because that 60 seconds of silence felt too long. I can't sit with my thoughts for even a minute on a moving train in a city that has millions of people. And that Specifically, that is what made me realize something had quietly gone wrong. Then there's this night version of this, which is somehow even worse. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll finish a long day, genuinely long, like hours of trying to build something, editing, thinking, staring at a screen, whatnot. And then I'll sit down to rest at night, put something on to watch, maybe a sitcom, maybe a movie or something that I actually want to watch. And within minutes, there's this voice, not loud, it's just present in the background, like a notification that won't go away. And that voice keeps telling me, you should be editing, you should be writing. Someone else is working right now and you're falling behind. And so I'm watching, but not really watching. My eyes are on the screen, but my brain is already calculating what I should do tomorrow. Like it is creating a checklist or something. What needs to get done, what I didn't finish today, whether this sitting here resting is a mistake. So I'm not working in that moment, but I'm not resting either. I'm just hovering, mentally suspended somewhere between the two, not fully in either place. And I'll do this until midnight, okay? Or maybe sometimes even till 2 a.m. And then I'll sleep. And I wake up already tired. Not tired from doing too much, tired from never being fully anywhere, tired from spending the whole day with one foot already in the next moment. And I think that specific kind of tiredness, the kind that sleep doesn't really fix, is more common than anyone talks about, because that tiredness, it doesn't look like a burnout, doesn't look like anything. I mean, you're functioning, you're showing up, you get up tomorrow, you go to work and everything, but you just feel slightly hollow all the time for no reason that you can name. I was born in 2004, as you guys know, which means I didn't grow up before the internet. I grew up as it accelerated. Like there was no before for me, no dial up era, I remember, no summer without a screen. I came into awareness at roughly the same time as YouTube, WhatsApp, and the smartphone. And I think that matters because when people talk about slowing down, they usually have a before to go back, like a memory of life without constant stimulation, a reference point. I don't have that. The closest thing I have is being maybe 9 or 10 years old, summer holidays, no plans, no schedule, afternoon heat is so heavy, still heavy, that even going outside felt like too much effort. And I remember just lying there on the floor sometimes because it was cooler, staring at the ceiling fan going around, thinking about nothing in particular, just existing. Back then, I was desperate for something to happen. Now, I can't stop things from happening. But looking back, I think that was the last time that I was truly still, because what came after was faster internet, better phones, more content than any human being could ever finish. So then came infinite scroll, autoplay, algorithms designed by some of the smartest people alive, whose entire job is to make sure you never run out of something to look at. And all of that worked. Okay, obviously it worked. We can see that. I haven't been bored, like truly deeply bored, since I was, I don't know, in my teens or something. I don't know. And I used to think that was a good thing. But lately I've been wondering if boredom was actually doing something for me, something I didn't realize that I needed. Because when you're bored, really bored, with nothing to reach for, your brain starts doing something interesting. It starts talking to you. You start figuring out what you actually think, what you actually want, what's actually bothering you underneath all the noise. Boredom is uncomfortable, that's for sure, because it forces you to be alone with yourself. And being alone with yourself means having to face whatever's there. And I think for today's day and age, that's a lot for us. For me, definitely. The phone isn't just entertainment, it's like distance. Distance from whatever we'd have to sit with if we put it down. I never learned how to be bored. I think a lot of us have never learned how to be bored. And I'm starting to think that might be one of the most expensive things my generation was quietly handed. Not a crisis, it's not a tragedy. It's just a slow, invisible cost that nobody put on the label. Yeah, that's what I think. I want to get personal for a second. I'll tell you a personal story. I am 21 and I'm trying to build something, a channel, a body of work, some kind of proof that I was here and that I had something to say. And I genuinely love it, okay? I want to be clear about that. This isn't a video about hating what I do. But there's a version of building something that nobody really prepares you for. It's the version where you're constantly aware of everyone else is building faster, where you open your phone in the morning and before you have even had your morning coffee or tea, you already know three people your age who are doing more than you. Growing faster, figuring it out quicker, looking more certain about everything they want in life. And there's this feeling that kicks in, not jealousy actually, something quieter than that. More like panic wearing a calm face. Like you're running, but you can't see the track. And everyone around you seems to know exactly where they are going. And you are just moving, hoping the direction is right, okay? And what that does to you over time is subtle, but actually it's real. You stop being in the work and you start being in the gap between where you are and where you think you should be. Some days I genuinely can't tell if I'm creating because I love it or because I'm scared of falling behind if I stop. And somewhere in all of that calculating, the actual reason you started, it's very quiet. I started because I had things I needed to say, things I'd never heard anyone say out loud in quite the way I wanted to hear them. There are things that I want to show. And now sometimes I'll sit down to work and spend 40 minutes or maybe hours thinking about thumbnails and titles and retention before I've written a single honest sentence. And I'll look up at the clock and it's already midnight and I haven't made anything. Just plan to make things. I think the hardest part of building something when you're young and online is that you're doing it inside a machine that's specifically designed to make you feel behind. It's kind of insane when you think about it. I turned something I loved into a thing I refresh analytics for at 2 a.m. But I've started noticing something. The moments when I have made things I'm actually proud of, the things that felt true, they almost always happened when I stopped thinking about all of that. When I just sat with an idea quietly, without checking what was performing, without asking if it was the right move or will it get views or subscribers or anything. It was just me and a thought and enough stillness to let it become something. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe slowing down isn't about rest. Maybe it's also about giving your actual ideas enough quietness to survive and become the things they can. Let me tell you about a moment I had a few weeks ago. I was having one of those nights. You know, the ones where everything feels slightly too heavy and you can't really explain why. And I did something I almost never do. I put my phone in the other room. I turned off the music, turned off the video, and I just sat in my room with just the fan and whatever sound that was coming from outside. Okay. And for the first maybe 4 or 5 minutes, it was genuinely uncomfortable. My hands kept reaching for something that wasn't there. My brain kept looking for the next thing to consume. But then something shifted, not dramatically, nothing happened. Like no revelation or no sudden clarity or anything like that. It was just quiet, like actual quiet. For the first time in I don't know how long, and I just sat in it. And somewhere in that sitting, I started actually thinking, not consuming someone else's thoughts or anything, not reacting to something, just thinking about what I actually wanted, not what I thought I should want, not what looked good from the outside, what I genuinely wanted. And it was the clearest I'd felt in months. I am not telling you to throw your phone away. I am not going to end this video with something like 5 habits that will fix your relationship with stillness. And this is what those 5 habits are, and you should follow it, and nothing like that, because I don't think it works like that. But I've been thinking about what we are actually doing when we fill every silence, every gap, every in between moment. I think we are trying to feel more stimulated, more informed, more connected, more certain that life is happening. But I think somewhere in all that filling, we accidentally start feeling less present, less certain about what we actually think, less able to just be somewhere without needing it to be more than it is. And maybe that's what we forgot. Not how to slow down exactly, but how to let a moment just be a moment. Like how to be present completely. Like the coffee cooling in your hand, the city making its noise outside, the fan going around, the particular quality of light at a specific time of evening that you'll never see again, exactly like that. All of it just happening, whether you're paying attention or not. I think life has always moved fast, and especially in a city like Mumbai, I don't think that's new. What's new is that we now have an infinite number of ways to make sure we never have to feel it moving. And I think that's the thing worth sitting with. Not the speed, not the avoidance. So, I don't know. I'm still figuring this out. I don't have a clean answer. If you guys have, please let me know. I would love to know about your opinions and perspective. But I've started trying something small. When there's a gap, a real one, even 30 seconds, I'm trying to just let it be a gap. Not fill it, not reach for something. Just let the silence be silence and see what comes up. Suppose if I'm going for a walk, I'll try to avoid the phone and the songs and everything and just go for a walk and be completely present with myself. And sometimes when I'm on my walk, I try to think of ideas, but nothing comes up. And that's okay too. Because maybe that's what we actually need sometimes. Not more input, not more stimulation, not more content about why we consume too much content. Just a moment that belongs entirely to us. Unrecorded, unoptimized, unshared. Just a moment that's us. Thank you for this today. I mean that genuinely. You gave me 30 seconds of your attention and then kept giving it. And I don't take that lightly. If something in here stayed with you, even if it's just a thing, small thing, maybe just sit with it for a bit. No need to share it immediately. Just sit with it. And that's going to be enough. And I guess that's everything for today.